it's Lula. Wow, so much has happened since I woke up really early this morning. You probably saw my prayer for the Amazon, for the rainforest. In that prayer meditation, I didn't want to, a lot of stuff came through that I was going to write at the end. Or I was going to say I was going to write in the description and talk to you guys about it. But I was really called to just leave that the way it was and then build an altar in honor of our ancestors there. So in this lineage that I know of, my family comes from the Cherokee. And so I have a really strong connection to the Native American culture. Last year I found this really cool vintage plate. It's like it's metal. It's more decorative than actually you could put it in use. And I was really drawn to it. I was at an estate sale and I just had to have it. And the funny thing is I didn't even realize it said Chile, until Ed said, "Oh, that's a really cool plate. Where'd you get that?" Or he, I don't forget what he called it. And I said, "Oh, I got it at this estate sale." I said I was so drawn to it. I go, it had the Native American on it and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, "Well, it's actually from Chile, And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Look." And I just thought, I guess I'd always looked at it from I don't know what direction I was looking at it from, because now all I see is Chile. But anyway, I just laughed. I go, "Oh, how funny." To me, it just represented the indigenous people. So when I was called to build this altar for, everything that's happening there, because it's not just the rainforest, right? It's all the I don't have a tree frog, but Sprocket's the closest thing I have to a tree frog. And I tried to bring in all of my earth elements that I have here to represent, obviously this is a succulent, but all the leafy, beautiful greens. This is actually those are real flowers. My beautiful soul sister, Sage, made this for me yesterday. I saw her and I could not believe it. I told her that I loved sunflowers. She was dropping me off at the volunteer gig and then she was coming to pick me up. And we were talking about her garden and she was talking about her sunflowers. And I said, "Oh, sunflowers." I go, "Those are my favorite flower." And she's like, "Oh." She comes to pick me up and made me this beautiful arrangement. She's so talented. Thank you, Sage. And so all of these things that were brought on here, the healing power of the amethyst, the ametrine, all these different stones that represent the earth and water, all wanted to come on here. These little sayings like this one, I love this. It says, "Earth laughs in flowers" by Ralph Waldo Emerson. This one says, "Your soul is your higher self." This one says, "You will feel fulfilled when you do the impossible for someone else." This one says, "The principal ingredient of life is love." And then this one was from a tag that I had when I had my store, Tallulah's Treasures. I was called to keep this. I used to put inspirational things like this on the clothing. I wouldn't even look at them half the time. I would just take the vintage piece or something that I made and I'd go through all my tags and I would just put it on there. And I cannot tell you how many people would get emotional while they were shopping with me or like, "I have to have this. I wanted it anyway." And then it said blah, blah, blah. And, so that was my medicine with them. But this one I was really called to. I actually was going to cut around it because it says the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams, Eleanor Roosevelt. I was about to cut around it when Spirit said, "No, I want you to look at that. Look at the whole thing. Look at the words around it in green. Kindness, mindful, true kindness, action, inspired." The word reversible, I remember what this was on too. It was on a vintage, why it was a rare beauty was it was a beautiful, one of those reversible silk Asian jackets. And one side was the most beautiful, bright blue turquoise, like the color of water, right? It was a beautiful blue. And on the other side, it was a cream color. So that's why it says reversible. And then the rare beauty. And I said to Spirit, I said, "Why would I keep that?" And they want us to remember that even though this fire is happening, it's okay, because they also want me to point this out. It's about creation and maintenance. You know what this water is? This is from that super moon, that super blood red moon that we had. I've been holding on to it. I didn't know why. And I just put it in this old jar. And here we have these words, and I was going to put it in something else, and Spirit said, no, leave it in there, leave it in there. And I was like, why? And then on the other side, it said, you know, something really positive too, but it told me to turn it around. And when I saw this, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then I saw this, what they were trying to say is, it's reversible. Like, you know, nothing is permanent. Like, we can go back. And this fire, it's all about maintenance and creation, right? Because even though it seems really horrible right now, we can't imagine that. Like, you know, we've had a lot of fires in some of the most beautiful places on our planet. But what Gaia wants us to remember is that, you know, we're not here to save her. We're here to save ourselves. She's allowing us to have this. I watched this amazing show this morning. I just listed it. It's my latest one that I listed in my educational. I forgot her name already. But she was talking about how we're made up of 41 trillion cells, but 41 trillion sentient beings, right? So that's just each person. So the plants are like that too. Like, we're, you know, yes, we're fragile. Yes, we need to save things. And there's so many reasons why this fire happened, but Goddess Mother wants us to remember that it's the future belongs to those, you know, who believe in their dreams. So, and the beauty of our dreams. Well, what's a good dream? For us to preserve these places, to get real, to go to our senators, our congressmen, like to go to, you know, go to the Hill and talk to, you know, and start making noise about how these places need to be protected and that people can't just go into the rainforest and poach for this and poach for that. It's not allowed. These places need to be sacred and considered sacred, and that we actually pay for, you know, maybe it's an international, you know, police force of some kind that, you know, really monitors these places so that people can't come in and poach the animals or poach, you know, for Palo Santo or cacao or any of these things. This is, I'm bringing the Spirit. It's funny, Spirit moved my hands down here to show you that I didn't even know that cinnamon bark came from the Amazon. Did you know that? I didn't know that. I did a little research today because I thought cacao nibs came from there. They do not. They come from Africa. At least the research that I found. Maybe they do grow them there, but I heard that they originated from Africa. And I need to look up this rune, and I'll put it in the description below, because I thought this was just a rock, and then it said it wanted to come in, and I went to put it down, and it dropped like that. And I was like, oh, it's one of my runes. I'm like, how'd that get in there? And there are no accidents. You know, even building this altar today, I realized, you know, how powerful Spirit is when Spirit's trying to talk to us. You know, I may not have all of the things that go with the rainforest, or I may not understand, you know, certain things about it, but I do know this. I know that cleansing is part of maintenance, to have more creation, right? Some things have to die in order for some things to live. Like, look at these gorgeous flowers. I'm going to honor them and you know, cut them and keep giving them water, and so they can live as long as they can. But we all know they're going to wither and die. It's just going to happen. They've been cut off from their life source. They're not going to grow again. However, Sage said to me, hey, there's seeds in there for you. And she was, you know, telling me how I can grow my sunflower seeds. She's been such a beautiful and invaluable friend in so many ways, but I've learned so much from her this summer. I met her at the co-op, and I've just had a really amazing experience ever since I started volunteering at the co-op. And there are a few people there that have just really awakened me in so many ways, and my heart and my soul. So anyway, I just wanted to call attention to this. This is the altar that I've built for the Amazon rainforest. I'm not going to say FIRE, because what I have done is, if you see here, I took this quartz crystal and I turned the point from the moon water going to the flame in this candle, so there will not be a fire. And we are collectively, I was drawn to do this because there were so many people that I know and love and respect. We're doing all these wonderful things. And I thought, oh my gosh, I need to do something too. And even though today I was supposed to have this chill day to myself, there's no such thing. And when you're a light worker, you got to work someday. Well, it's any job, right? Sometimes you got to work on your days off. But look at Sprocket. I feel like he's looking right into the camera. Hi, Sprocket. So he speaks for all the tree frogs and all of the life force in the rainforest, but especially the animals. He is our spirit animal today in representation, just like that indigenous, beautiful indigenous individual. I love that it doesn't look male or female. It's just androgynous, which I love. you know, and I love that they're smoking a peace pipe. So we've made peace with this burn. And no matter how it started or what happened, just remember that Goddess Mother Earth is her own being. Watching that documentary today, I was like, yes, of course. I mean, I know I say these things all the time, but, you know, you'll hear it from another person and you just remember certain things, you know, like the principal ingredient of life is love. We're all about creation and maintenance. And nothing's irreversible, right? It is reversible. We can turn things back. It's not too late. We living in fear and all that. The other thing she brought me to, which was a really great gift, is I realized I've been in this kind of like whiny, oh, I'm in this like dealing with the muggles in the third dimension. You know what? We're in the fifth dimension. She's so right. Like, we are in the fifth dimension. That's why everyone else is struggling, because they're not there yet. So they'll get there or they won't. But we're in a cleansing of sorts ourselves, right? You know, we're gearing up for another election. Yesterday at the farmer's market, you know, here I was talking about healing, you know, with CBD and cannabinoids and all of these wonderful properties of, you know, the cannabis plant. And then on the other side of us, there was the county. Agriculture was, you know, pushing for people to make, you know, changes. And it was very inspiring. We all had great conversations with each other. And that's what it is, community, right? Putting our phones down, stop looking at the latest, you know, something. I mean, it's fun. It's great to have fun. Just, you know, you can go on social media or you can go on, you know, YouTube for tutorials. You want to, you know, learn how to put makeup on or dress or whatever. You like to shop for vintage. That's great. Like, these are my favorite things. But you know what I mean? It's what I'm saying is like, we can't like dwell in those spaces though. We need to be more in like this, being aware, talking to each other, making changes. We are the change. And I was saying this to everybody yesterday. I'm like, I'm just going to keep harping on this right now. It is so important for us to, your soul is your higher self, right? So only we can heal ourselves. Only we can heal ourselves. And when we heal ourselves, we don't have to concern ourselves about healing the world, because the world will already be healed. Because it starts with us. So many times people take up action, or where can I put my money? You know, hey, I've got money. How can I solve this solution? Take this money. It's like, well, it's not all about money. By the way, Spirit keeps having me come up to this because this is a beautiful big fluorite. And fluorite's really big in healing too. I didn't have it. It wasn't meant to go on the altar, but I felt like it was supposed to be like the mascot. So is this, which I've had for years. And if you want to take a screenshot of this, I don't feel like doing this right now. Maybe one day I'll do it for a show. But you can take screenshots of these. Or you can ask me, you know, email me. My information's under the offerings at the bottom. It's got my email address. You can message me and ask for a copy of this. I don't remember where I got this from. But it's really great when you're trying to call in all the energies. I'll probably do this later. And look at this one, calling in the West for water, right? Because we want to get rid of, we don't want this right now. We want the guardians, the guides, and the ancestors of the West in water. I thank you for your presence and protection. Keep me flowing ever toward wholeness in body, mind, and spirit. I return to your protection again. Hail and farewell. This is calling all the corners. I'm a witch, so, you know, most likely if you're watching this, you're a witch as well. But if not, that you could still call the four corners. I mean, it's just all about energy and power and magic, and we all have magic, right? So yeah, you know, and the owls, thank you, wise owls, for looking over and watching over us. And my beautiful friend Maddie, she made this a long time ago. This, when I had my major transformation, when I walked through the veil of Samhain, I don't know how many years ago it was now. I believe it's coming up on 5. When I really came into my gifts, and she gifted me with that she had forever, and I was really drawn to it. And I wore it that night, and it's been falling apart, and I don't think I'm supposed to ever wear it again. It's just become part of my practice in my altars and just having the energy around. Anyway, so build yourself an altar as well if you want to send some good energy to the rainforest. I know that there's things happening all over the world, so wherever you want to direct your energy. But as a lot of you know, the reason why so many people are getting upset about the Amazon is, people say the heart, the lungs, that the Amazon is, especially being so close to the equator in the middle of the earth, that it is our protector. That's where all the magic comes from. But I will say this, I've never been to the Amazon rainforest, but I've been to other rainforests, and we had a fire in the Olympic rainforest, and I was like gutted and sick about it. And then there was a fire in the gorge, between Oregon and Washington a few summers ago. And so, it's harsh and it's horrible when it happens, but everything's going to be fine. I already checked in with my spirit guides. The rainforest is not going to burn down completely. It's never going to happen. But it is there for a lesson. It's there for us to come together as a collective in prayer and chanting and honoring Gaia and reminding people that our planet is important and she is the only thing that matters. Like in terms of like living here as a human, some people will be like, oh, it's a false god. It's like, no, it's not about that. It's just she herself, as this woman said in the documentary, which was so true, she herself, Mother Earth Gaia, is a sentient being. This planet is a sentient being. Look at her. She's beautiful. Look at how different and awesome and multifaceted she is, and how she can be freezing and cold in the tundra and hot and sweaty and yummy in the tropics. You know what I mean? And lush and green in one place and dry and deserted in another. She is beautiful, magical creation. She is an entity. It is a female energy, and we must honor her. So I'll leave it at that. And have a blessed week, everybody. I love you so much. Thank you so much for supporting yourself and for your healing process and for also supporting me and my mission here on this planet. I love you so much. Have a blessed day. Aho.